Regardless, now we come to the idea of al-qawl as-sadid. And I wanted to go through this loaded term, the word sadda in Arabic. As far as a material term is concerned, the first implication of it is ighlaqul khalal. It means to fill in a gap or a crack. When something like, old walls, back in the day, now we have sheetrock, so in America at least, it doesn't show as much, but when you have stone walls or concrete walls over time, there's some holes, and you have to fill them and patch them up. That patch is actually a sad in Arabic, or sadad in Arabic, to fill up a gap. Now, what does that mean for speech? What the first implication of that is sometimes when somebody speaks to you, they cause damage, just like the damage on a wall. Right? Somebody says something hurtful to you. Somebody says something ignorant. Sometimes people say something ignorant about you, or they say something ignorant about what they don't know, or they speak as though they know, but they don't really know. And some of the most interesting is when people speak on behalf of Allah's deen, and say, you know what, that's haram. Where did you learn that's haram? You know what, this one makes things up about Islam. Makes what up? Do you have the knowledge to say that before you make a claim about someone? Do you have the knowledge to say something is halal or haram before we open our mouth? Now, when you hear an ignorance like that, our first impulse is to put people in their place and to just shut them down. But if you respond to ignorance with anger, or you respond to ignorance by, a reaction, and an upset reaction, or what we call put someone in their place, right? That's ignorant. You have no knowledge. What are you talking about? This is, you're ridiculous, etc. When you have these kinds of responses, well, when you offend someone, because you're offended, when you offend someone back, do you think they're going to just hear that and say, oh, I didn't realize I was being ignorant. Thank you for humbling me. Now I'm just going to sit down and be quiet. That's not what's going to happen. They hear you respond in an aggressive fashion, and what happens? They say, you know what? I'm going to take the next step, and now I'm going to become even more aggressive. I'm going to take, because pride kicks in. Pride kicks in. You just attacked me. You just criticized me. And the human nature is to not accept criticism. It's to actually defend yourself. Whether it's physically defend yourself, but even verbally defend yourself. Then right or wrong exits from the conversation. All you want to do now is put someone else in their place. So now they say something even more obscene and more offensive. Now as you hear that, you get more upset, and the crack gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But if we understand that we have to have the taqwa of Allah, the cautious awareness of Allah, when engaged in conversation with someone who causes a crack, who says something ignorant, who says something outrageous, we have to learn the process of saying, what am I going to say that covers this gap, and there's not going to be a back and forth that makes this crack worse. You have to, and the people you have an argument with are not people you never met. These are people you've known your whole life. These are friends, family, co-workers that you deal with all the time. You know how they speak. And for many of you, you've had the same exact argument 20, 30, 40 times. Man, every time I go and talk to my mom, this happens. Every time I talk to my dad, we end up like this. Every time I talk to her, this happens. Every time I talk to my friend, this happens. He always says this. Well, if he always says this, and you always respond in the same way, and it always goes the same wrong way, but you don't understand what sadid means then. Maybe you need to think ahead and say, I've already gone down this road before, and I know where it leads. Maybe I need to be smarter now and say something or not say something, avoid saying some things, or say things in a way that will close this door. That will not perpetuate further. And that's something you really have to become thoughtful about. Think about it. Language is, of all the muscles that we have in our body, the eyes and the tongue are actually very easily used. You don't have to actually exercise. You don't get tired of using your eyes. You just open them and they work. Hands can get tired, legs can get tired, your back can get tired, but the tongue can move very quickly. The eyes can move very quickly. So we get trigger happy and whatever comes in our mouth just leaves immediately. An ancient poet once said that he wished that his neck was 1 mile long. What a strange thing to say, I wish my neck was 1 mile long. And he was asked, why do you say that? And he said, well, because my gut tells me I should say something. And when those thoughts travel from my gut through my neck, maybe I should have time to think, no, put it back down, that shouldn't come out of my mouth. So I'm hoping it's 1 mile long, So, an-nadam ala sukut khayrun min an-nadam ala al-kalam. Like being embarrassed or regretting that you said something is worse. Regretting that you didn't say something is better. So al-qawl as-sadid, first of all, should I say something? Should I not say something? And what I say, is it going to escalate and make things worse instead of making things better? And with your experience, you already know which kinds of words or phrases or tone or suggestion did not go well. So maybe it's time to experiment with a different direction. Say something other than what you said before. Say something that won't cause damage, maybe undo damage. That's what he did. All of that because of just al-qawl as-sadid, just knowing, having the wisdom of what to say and how to say it, how to engage. This is a very powerful, very difficult quality, because once again, we are programmed, whatever comes in your head just comes out. Just immediately, impulse reaction, right? And this is actually one of the meanings of the word jahala. Aqal in Arabic is to tie up, and jahal is to let loose. Whatever comes goes. Okay? This is why وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا in Surah Al-Furqan. When the ignorant address them, ignorant doesn't just mean ignorance, it also means impulsive. You had the impulse to say something and you just said it. Stop, think. Think. How am I going? Don't just throw grenades with your words. Don't just throw grenades. Have targeted, direct, impactful speech, exact words. And if you can't think of saying something, it's better to stay quiet. That's the first implication, إغلاق الخلل. The second is ردم الثلم. They say when there is a crack already there, and you're trying to fill it up and fix it. What that means is when you meet someone who's broken, when you meet someone who's hurt, when you meet someone who's angry, when you meet someone who's upset, not because of you, because of some other reason, you have to have the insight and the sensitivity to use the kinds of words that will make them feel better, not make them feel worse. Not make them feel worse. I'll give you examples of each as I go, because I want you to think in practical terms what this means. You're at a funeral, somebody passed away, there's a janazah, and the parent passed away, the son is there, he's crying, and you come to him and you put, no, don't cry, you have to have sabr. You just say these words. Now in your head, you said something really good. What did you say? You have to have sabr. That's a good thing to say. No, it isn't. Yaqub alayhi salam lost his child. Gone. Doesn't know if he's alive or dead. He's gone. And we don't know what happened to Yusuf alayhi salam. Did Yaqub alayhi salam cry? Yes. Did he cry for an hour, 2 hours, a day, 2 days? No. He cried for many, many years. He cried for many, many years. And his children would say, Tafta'u tadhkuru Yusuf? Tallahi tafta'u. You're going to keep missing Yusuf? Get over it already. And this is the Prophet of Allah alayhi salam, Yaqub alayhi salam. Allah, what words came out of his mouth that are recorded in the Quran? فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. This is the Prophet of sabr. This is the Prophet of sabr. You know what that means? That means him crying doesn't mean he does not have sabr. But when you went to somebody's janazah and they were crying and you put your hand over their shoulder and you said, hey, you should have sabr. They already feel terrible that they lost a parent. Now they feel terrible that they don't have sabr. You made them feel even worse. And now they're feeling guilty for crying. Well, crying is a human emotion. Allah gave us that. Prophets weren't missing sabr because they shed tears. How are you making someone feel that? So sensitivity, just understanding what I say, is it going to make things better or is it going to make things worse? Is it going to hurt someone's feelings? There was a fellow I met at the masjid one time after Jumu'ah. He came and said salam to me. Really nice to meet you. I watched a lot of your videos. The first time I'm meeting you in the masjid. We hugged each other saying salam. This other fellow walks into the conversation. Assalamu alaikum, Sadama. And this fellow over here you just met? Yeah, he's a security guard at the airport. And I felt so terrible. I knew why he's saying that. And even that fellow recognized it. He said, why did you have to say that? Am I supposed to be embarrassed that I'm a security guard? Just to be sensitive about what you're going to say. No, but it's true, you are, right? You still have that job, right? You're not wearing your uniform today. You're just trying to make him feel low with these words. And then when somebody questions you, say, no, I just stated the fact. I mean, it's a good thing you have a job. Alhamdulillah, you have a job. Good for you. That wasn't your intention. That wasn't qawl sadid. Don't use sarcasm, hurtful words, sliding comments that you can get away with. Straightforward speech means speech that doesn't cause pain. Speech that it's not used to belittle. It's not used to, as in modern language, throw shade at someone. To make trolling comments towards someone. Even with body language, we need to avoid this. Then as-sadid, as-sud actually means al-jabal wal-hajiz. It's very interesting. It also means a dam nowadays. A sad is actually a dam that prevents two sides from the water from coming to the other side. Massive mountains are also called sud in the Arabic language. It's used in the Quran for when وَجَعَلْنَا مِن بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ سَدًّا in Surah Yasin, right? Or ذُو الْقَرْنَيْن, فَجْعَلْ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمْ سَدًّا. The word sad is used for a dam that cannot be penetrated, a wall that cannot be penetrated. And what that means in terms of speech is, you have to say, this is described elsewhere in the Quran, وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ. Don't say something you don't have knowledge of. You know how like people throw statistics out like they know what they're talking about? Yeah, 90% of the people think this. Or 80% of the food we eat is blah, blah, blah. Where'd you get this percentage? Where did you get that from? And somebody can rip your argument apart because you said something not based on knowledge. Or sometimes even within Islamic discussion, somebody will come, a young man will come up to you, Ustad Norman, all the Sahaba agreed this. And I said, all the Sahaba? Can you name 10 of them? How about 8? How about that? And they agreed? Where did they agree? Oh, it's obvious. Obvious where? In the books. Which books? I'll be back. Don't say things that you don't know about. Don't speak about matters you don't know about. When you have 20-something-year-olds coming and saying, by the way, this hadith is da'if. Really? Where's the da'f? Who commented on its weakness? Do you know where this hadith comes? No, I Googled it. I heard it in a lecture. Then why don't you just listen to a lecture and keep that to yourself until you know? Because when you say things that are half-baked, that are not fully well thought out, that are not concrete, then it'll create fitna in society. Speak words that are solidly known. If you know about something in an absolute way, then speak about it. If you don't, then silence is better. Or saying, I don't know is good. I don't know is good. People come to me after Jummah all the time. After Jummah, typically I stay behind, take people's questions. Some person comes to me, what's your opinion on Islamic finance? I said, I don't have an opinion on Islamic finance. I said, no. So should I do this or not? Should I make this investment or not? Should I buy this or not? Using this bank or not? And I say, I don't know. Why don't you know? Because I don't know. You can ask someone who knows. You don't know? What's the purpose? You give all these speeches, you don't know? Yep, I give all those speeches and I still don't know. I'm okay with that. I don't want to tell you something I don't know. I'm completely comfortable telling you I don't know. I'm happy with it. That's al-qawl as-sadid. And al-qawl as-sadid also means the way you and I use inshallah. The incorrect way we use inshallah. Somebody says, hey, are you coming? Inshallah. What does that mean? If I feel like it, maybe. If not, maybe. So if I show up, then not in trouble. If I didn't say yes, I said inshallah. I put it on God, not myself. If Allah wills. That's not how that works. So إِذَا قُلْتَ فِي شَيْءٍ نَعَمْ فَأَتْمِمْهُ. If you're going to say yes to something, then it's a yes. If it's a no to something, then it's a no. And also from a listening point of view. There are sometimes, it's happened to me often, people say, Ustad Rahman, we want you to visit our community. And sometimes I don't say yes. I say, I can't. Will you at least think about it? Yes, I'll think about it. Then they write an email, Ustad Rahman promised he'll visit our community. I promised? No, well, you said yes. I was like, I didn't say yes. I said, yes, I'll think about it. That's a lack of al-qawl as-sadid. Hearing what you want to hear. Hearing what you want to hear. Speak clearly. Be direct. Be clear in what your intentions are and what you're about to say and what you want the other person to hear. So there's no room for ambiguity. There's no room left for ambiguity. And so this is the third implication. And finally, saddus saham, when the